Hello folks, Scott with Dallas Paint Correction and Auto Detailing here in Dallas, Texas. I want to do something. Why are we looking at the nastiest truck probably on the planet, right? It's my dump truck. It's my I don't care truck. It goes through the woods, it goes everywhere. It is filthy, probably hasn't been washed in months. Pretty crazy for a professional detailer, huh? All right, well, this is what I want to do. I had a subscriber ask me last night, hey Scott, can I use Super Clean as a traffic film remover? Well, the answer is typically just about any all-purpose cleaner or degreaser can be used if you dilute it as a traffic film remover. Well, what is a traffic film remover? Well, when you have a lot of grease and grime, I'm going to pick you guys up. Sorry for it being shaky, but let's get on here and take a look at my truck, right? So this is the door panel. I've got the two panels separated by tape, right? So here's a panel here. This is pretty nasty, gross. What I'm going to do is I'm going to put an S in my finger here so we can see the grease. I'm going to put an S there. That's going to stand for Super Clean. And we're going to use this panel as a traffic film remover demonstration. If I back up over here and we go to this side here, I'm going to foam cannon wash this panel. And we'll put a big F here for foam cannon. Make sure we got an F, right? Okay. So what do I want to talk about? I want to talk about when is it appropriate to use a degreaser or an all-purpose cleaner to use as a traffic film to remove grease and grime off the side of the car. When is it appropriate to use a foam wash? How effective is it? How effective is a traffic film remover? They both have pros and cons. Obviously, if you're using some type of all-purpose cleaner or degreaser, you are going to strip the wax or greatly degrade it. So it's not an every case scenario. But if you got a car that's really hammered, it needs some deep cleaning, and you're going to clay bar it, wax it, do any type of paint correction afterwards, maybe a traffic film remover will beat to the punch. A foam wash obviously is something we want to be a little bit more delicate. We're using a pH balanced soap typically in our foam cannons, and we're just trying to remove some of the light dirt, grease, and grime, right? Well, let's see how these two stack up against one another. How effective is a foam on its own? How effective is the traffic film remover? Then I'm going to use, if I've got time in this video, I don't want to kill you, but I will simply just power wash, maybe not here because we'll get cross-contamination. I will just power wash the back of this truck here and don't use anything and see what happens. Let's do a W for power wash. Is that a W? Come on, Scott. There's a W. And we'll see how much we remove there without using anything. All right, guys, I'm going to set you down. I know it's a little annoying, right? Just bear with me. You're going to see me use the Super Clean on one side of the panel, and then we'll foam the other. The Super Clean that I have is diluted 4:1 in a 32-ounce bottle. Let me flip this screen over so I can see myself. Is diluted 4:1. That's about 6.4 ounces in a 32-ounce bottle. The rest of it is filled with distilled water. 4:1 is the ratio. 4 parts water, 1 part product. I will simply just soak down the side of this panel. I'll try not to get any Is that enough? Maybe some of you are saying, oh my God, Scott, that's too much. Well, this truck is pretty hammered, so let's see what it does. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to let that dwell. I'm going to hit the other side with a foam cannon. Hopefully we won't cross-contaminate, then we'll rinse. In the foam cannon, I have 20 ounces of distilled water and about 3 or 4 ounces of car soap. That's pretty aggressive for that amount of water. The dilution ratio is pretty high. Let's see if foam, with giving it some extra punch, can meet Super Clean. Bear with me, guys, just connecting this to the power washer. Now the power washer I'm using is 1500 psi. It's not all that aggressive. Let's see if these cleaners can work effectively with even a small power washer. So here we go. All right. right, this is going to be the boring part of the video because I can't stand to edit. Probably, honestly, I don't know how to edit. But here we go. I'll let you see what we're doing here. How long should we let that dwell? I don't know. Some people tell me they let a foam wash dwell for 5 minutes before they rinse it. Well, that's cool, but I'm mobile. I could be working in direct sunlight. That just doesn't make sense for me. That soap could dry up on a hot panel in the middle of August here in Dallas. So I typically, if I use a foam, I may let it sit for a minute or two and then spray it off. There's the Super Clean over there, just kind of doing whatever it's doing. Who knows what's going to happen once we rinse this sucker off. But again, if you're going to use some type of traffic film remover, why is it beneficial? Well, on a really hammered car that needs a layer of wax, you're starting all over again. What's great about using something like Super Clean, if you want to use it as a traffic film remover, an all-purpose cleaner, super degreaser, it'll break down grease and grime. Plus, if you've got tar on the side of the car, it will begin to kind of soften that tar for you. You're still going to have to use something like Citrol or your favorite tar remover. But that stuff, that Super Clean with a high pH rating, alkaline base, can start to break some of those contaminants down for you before you even get to the next process. So that's kind of beneficial. But yes, it's going to strip waxes and sealants. So that's not a maintenance program for anybody if you want to keep your wax and sealant intact. There's the foam running down the side of the truck. It was pretty thick when it was first put on there. You could see it on the ground. It's just dripping all over the place. That's kind of cool, right? All right, so how long? I guess we should probably, I don't know, we'll give it another 30 seconds or so. I will rinse it with my 1500 PSI power washer, and let's see if the F for the foam disappears with my finger marking there, or the S that I put for Super Clean for the traffic film side. Let's see if that disappears under the pressure of the power washer. Have these chemicals or cleaners been able to really break down? This is a very, very rare case. This is excessive. This grime and grease has been on here for months, never been cleaned. Let's see what happens. Bear with me, trying to get my foam cannon. What are the cool kids calling it these days? The foam cannon, the foam gun, who knows? I got to get that off there, change my nozzle on the end of my power washer. Again, we're just going to hit it with 1500 PSI and see what happens. The tape is coming off. That's a pain in the butt, right? But I think we're going to be okay because all we're doing is rinsing. We're not cross-contaminating. But let me get this tape out of the way before it drives me nuts. I'll rinse off the foam cannon wash. Well, here's something really cool. I'm going to pick you guys up. Sorry for being so shaky. Let me see what I'm doing here. But here we go. Here's the side that I use Super Clean on it. Is it still dirty? Absolutely. If I run my finger through that, you can probably see there's still some grease and grime there that wasn't cut through. There's the S, still visible before I even begun to kind of break this down, or before I've sprayed it and rinsed it off, it's still there. Plenty of grease and grime there, right? Yep, look at that. I can still get that stuff with my finger. Now, if I go over here to the foam side to me, again, this is a very aggressive situation. Sorry guys for being so shaky, but the F is still there. It didn't get rid of any of this grease and grime. Wasn't really all that effective with breaking anything down. And they kind of, in my opinion, I don't know if it's showing up on the camera, Of course, Super Clean, diluted 4-to-1, did a little bit better job of cleaning it. Again, it's a much stronger cleaner. But for that subscriber, can you use it as a traffic film remover? The answer is yes. But you want to make sure you fully rinse it. Don't let it dry on the panel. Go ahead and do it 4-to-1, 5-to-1, whatever you want. Let it soak for a couple of minutes and then rinse it off thoroughly so you don't have any residue on the panel. But the moral of this story is all of this, which is very interesting. Do foam cannons work? Do traffic film removers work? Well, to some extent they do, but here's the reality. You've got to touch the paint. You are going to have to use some type of microfiber towel, some type of microfiber wash mitt. Maybe you're using multiple wash mitts. Maybe you're using a rinse-free wash. Who knows? But here's the reality. There is nothing that's going to get that crap off the side of a car without touching it. And guess what's going to happen when you touch the car? You're most likely going to scratch it. That's a little aggravating to have to hear, right? Well, you know, that's just the nature of the game. So how much of you are wasting your time using a foam cannon? I don't know. I mean, you have to decide if that works in your world or not. Will it remove some dust and dirt that could be on the panel? Sure, it will get it out of the way before you start your wash process. More stuff out of the way makes sense, right? You're going to scratch the paint less with all that crap on the paint. But here's my reality is that this stuff here, again, it doesn't come off. It's not water soluble. It's not going to break down and rinse freely with a power washer just because you sprayed some pH foam on it. Nor will the Super Clean. Yes, it did a little bit of a better job. It can break down grease and grime. That just makes sense, right? But the reality is you just got to keep going a little bit deeper. This is the stuff that hangs on paint that doesn't come off during a washing process. Could be transmission fluid, motor oil, all sorts of stuff. So we really got to figure out, and we've just got to come to the reality that we've got to touch the paint at some time to be able to clean it. Yes, if you had a really clean car and you foamed your car every day, every other day, and you did that religiously, yeah, you could probably clean your car that way and get all the dust and dirt off it. But the minute stuff starts sticking to it, motor oil, transmission fluid, you're going to have to be more aggressive. You're just going to have to touch it. But there you go for my subscriber Alex. Yes, it is safe to use Super Clean as a traffic film remover. Again, using it as a traffic film remover, it's going to help break down some of the rust and some of the contamination that might be on the lower rocker panels, but you're still going to have to use some type of tar remover for the next step. But the Super Clean or any type of traffic film remover is going to kind of help you along the process. But also remember, it will strip waxes and sealants. So that's not a maintenance wash. That's like, oh my God, I've got to get my truck clean and I know I'm going to be doing a layer of wax anyway. Then I think something like that, traffic film remover, could be perfect for you. Maintenance wash foam, well, you decide. Is that going to help you? Does that make your world? Do you feel like you're scratching the paint less because you use a foam cannon before you use your 2-bucket system? I don't know. It didn't seem like it was all that effective breaking down that grease and grime. And again, I know this is pretty nasty stuff, but this is the real world. All right, guys, I love you. Hope that helps you out. Just a comparison of the two. You decide what makes sense in your world, how it works, and I love you all, and I appreciate it. Have a good one.